In this video, I will teach you a clear and simple strategy for building melodic solos. If you're tired of sounding disconnected as you play a guitar solo, this lesson will really help you connect with the chords. For me, I like to create a home bass phrase, a phrase that works over all the chords. In the intro, I used a backing track that I'll leave a link for. It's a great track to practice these melodic solo ideas. The chords A, B, and C sharp minor. And I'm really looking at the structure of the C sharp minor pentatonic. But also within that scale, I'm looking at the 7-note scale at times, the C sharp minor scale. I know some of you are saying, I gotta think about the chords, I gotta think about scales, hitting the right notes. This lesson is not about that. Just taking a few minutes to create a simple phrase, and I'll break some of these phrases down. Well, you know what? Let's look at this demo so you can see these phrases in context. Thanks so much for stopping by today, and I really do appreciate all your support. For this style of playing, it's so important to have, really alter the rhythmic value of the notes. It just creates movement with that pulse, the pulse of the song. So let's take that phrase in two parts. 11th fret on the D string, and then 8 to 9 on the G string, back to 8, 11, 9. The next part of the phrase. So we're going to the A string, so we're pulling down from the 10th fret to the 9th fret. And then hitting the 7th fret and sliding from 9 to 11. Connects to that C sharp chord there, C sharp minor chord, I should say. And the chords are walking up pretty fast. There's only 2 beats of the A, 2 beats of B, 4 beats of C sharp minor. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So by the time we get to that end of that phrase, we're at that C sharp minor chord. I'm hugging the notes within the chords somewhat, but I'm not always thinking. You can't think too much in this style. You're just going to sound mechanical, and I get lost that way too sometimes. But we just need that simple phrase can be developed and just worked around as you heard in the demo. We can just add that little note from 11 to 12 there. A note to the G sharp note. And then I did a little move there. Mateus Asado, I probably first heard that from, but many players use that little technique. So a slight bend here in the 11th fret of the G string, and sliding up and back down from 11, 12, back to 11. You do it while it's slightly bent though. And then back to 9, which is that E note, which really works over all those chords. But you're at the C sharp minor at that point. And then a great way to continue with that theme and to sound different and maybe even elevate a little bit is just going up the octave. And then I alter the end of it a little bit as I'm up here. So 14 on the B, 11, 12 on the E string, back to 11, 14, 12. Kind of sliding to 14 is a good way to do it. And then we're going to the C sharp a minor chord at that point within the track. You can kind of hear those changes if you really just really hear them. They're all the same all the way through the song, but there's just different dynamics. So it sounds like there's more going on there, but it's just those 3 chords. And then so I'm just doing a simpler phrase there. 9 to 12, hammer on and pull off on the B string. You can do it again. Just doing a little altered version of that. 9 on the B, 11 on the G string, 2 hits on 12 of the B, back to 9. See how the rhythmic part of that is so important. Even these simple phrases here, you'll start to hear those rhythmic sounds instead of just playing straight through a scale. Or getting those notes to have movement and kind of altering that movement is really a great way. And I'm doing it very simply today. This is just a way to start building melodic solos, melodic sounding solos. Hey, listen, I really still struggle with this myself. This is a simple track. I can kind of, keep my mind focused mostly on that C sharp minor chord, because you can't go wrong if you're landing on that note, the C sharp note. And you can really have that first position of the C sharp minor pentatonic right there. You can play small phrases. I don't like to get carried away because then I start really getting locked in a position there. And I know some of you feel the same way, but just playing these small phrases really starts to bring out your personality, and you can start saying something when you play a guitar solo. So when the track starts getting more dynamically heavy, I just went to a little higher register with a little different theme. So I'm just playing, I'm thinking of the A chord to B to C sharp minor, but mostly I'm thinking of the C sharp minor chord as I'm playing this. I'm walking up to that. I'm really focused on those three notes in the 10th fret A of the B string, and 12th fret B, 14th fret is a C sharp note. But I'm just running up and giving it movement. But I'm still focused on those three notes during a phrase like that. That's where I used to really struggle. I would try to do too much in my mind, starting a phrase, just like I did with the simple phrase. I'm just thinking of those three chords. You can alter those so easily once you get those under your fingers. So I'm sliding up to 11 on the G string. This sounds good when you really come from down on the neck here. I'm not even thinking of a specific place. I'm just kind of slowly pushing on the note here. So 11 on the G, 9, 10 on the B string. And then 14, 12 on the B to the B note. Then that C sharp note's coming up. Right there. Hanging out on the B string here. 12, 14, 16, half step bend. And then resolving on that note. And you can hammer on 14 to 17 and back off to that C sharp note. This is a great way to play through this track. Try this. This will really start to expand the way that you play the guitar and visualize it. Then you can walk back down the other way if you want. And the second time, in the demo anyway, the second time I just intensified that a little bit and went farther up the fretboard. So I'm just adding and that's what we already learned. And then we could walk up from the C sharp note there. 14, 16, 17 is an E note. And then I switched my anchor point to that note with my first finger. So on the 17th fret of the B string, on 19 we're going to do a full bend, release and back to that 17, right there, the E note. And then 19 on the E string. So we're trying to hit these two notes here. But when you do it with a bend, full bend, 19, you can just hit the note on 19 there of the E string also. So basically I'm going up the C sharp minor scale at that point. But you're doing it on one string. And learn that on one string, it really does help. Because then you can go up and down parts of the fretboard with confidence if you know you're hitting the right notes. This obviously the C sharp minor scale, the 7-note scale, works over all these chords because the chords are built from that. A, B, and C sharp. All the notes in those chords are right here, the 7 notes. But for me, I like to still use the stripped down version, the 5-note scale, the pentatonic scale, and just add briefly the notes of that. Within the scale, just add the A note here. Then you can play your C sharp minor pentatonic licks briefly. If you're just starting to do this, just don't get carried away with those licks. Just play a brief lick. 9 on the E, 12, 9 on the B string, pulling down from 12 to 11. On the G, 9, resolve on that home bass note, C sharp note there in the 11th fret of the D string. Or, kind of sounds really bluesy. You can do that with a lot of those notes. And then you're back at the home bass note also. So on the 11th fret, just do that the little half step bend, I call it. But while it's bent, slide up 1 fret and back down. Real fast. And then pulling off to that note. It's not an easy thing if you're just starting to do that, but a great bluesy way to play the guitar. Playing small phrases within a scale that works over all the chords in a track or with a band, is just a great way to start sounding melodic. You're going to lean into the sound of the chords, really just by using your ear, but also the visual part of it. You have areas of the fretboard that you're confident with. You'll start playing these phrases, repeating them, and just really making them your own. Thanks so much for checking out my melodic solo lesson today, and I hope to see you soon.